one name, every knee will bow, every tongue confess, the name by which no one will be saved except through the name of Jesus. And there's this passage that I've been grappling with the last couple of weeks. It's a strange little passage, but there's so much truth in this, I believe, for us tonight, that I want to just share with you a little bit of what the Lord has laid on my heart. It's in John chapter 6. I'm just going to read a couple of verses. Chapter 6, verse 16. When evening came, the disciples went down to the sea, got into the boat, and started across the sea to Capernaum. It was now dark, and Jesus had not yet come to them. The sea became rough because a strong wind was blowing. When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking in the sea, coming near the boat, and they were frightened. I would add, understandably so. But he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." Then they were glad to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at land to which they were going. So I want you to imagine the scene for a second. What had just happened was the feeding of the 5,000, right? This big, massive event. They get in the boat, and then a storm starts to rage. Isn't that how it always seems to go? That our highest highs are then met by storms, are met by testing, are met by feeling like the bottom is dropping out, like everything is coming unraveled. And so these disciples begin rowing, and a storm begins to surround them, and they see Jesus off in the distance, and they're frightened. They don't know what to do with a rabbi that walks on water. And then he says, "It is I." Now in the Greek, what it says Jesus said was, "Ego eimi, ego eimi." Now that may not mean anything to any of you, but the disciples would have immediately understood what was being said there. Ego eimi is the name that God gives Moses to tell Pharaoh who sent me. It's translated in the Hebrew scriptures, "I am." And not just I am, but I always am. I don't merely exist, I am existence. I don't merely live, I am life itself. But almost every single time in the Hebrew scriptures, when God reveals himself, it's almost always followed with, "Now step back." He reveals himself and he says, "Take off your shoes, step back, stay over there." Jesus, this rabbi, God incarnate, says, "Ego me, it is I, do not be afraid," and then gets in the boat. He doesn't say stay at a safe distance. He climbs in the boat with them. He says, "It is I, you have nothing to fear." This Jesus, this rabbi, is both infinite and intimate. He comes both in power and proximation. He comes both with authority and affection. And John doesn't tell us that the storm stops raging. It says that Jesus got in the boat. Jesus isn't always protection from the storm. He's protection in the storm. Some of you tonight are in the midst of a storm, and you can't see dry land, and you don't know what tomorrow holds. And right now, honestly, maybe you feel like you're coming unraveled, and you've been keeping Jesus at a safe distance. You've maybe identified Jesus across the sea. Maybe tonight Jesus is saying to you, "It is I, let me get in the boat." God, Emmanuel, is not God simply for us. It's not even just God aware of us. It's God with us. Do we recognize that God, the God who spoke the universe into existence, is here in our midst right now, even up in the nosebleeds? For you watching online, wherever you're at, whatever your story holds, God is with you in the midst of whatever your storm is right now. Let him get in the boat. Let him get in the boat. He says, "It is I." He doesn't calm every storm, but he promises he won't leave us and he won't forsake us. My boy's been doing this thing lately where he's been climbing up and down every chair, every counter he can possibly get his eyes on. It's terrifying as a parent. You parents in the room understand. And he does this thing where he'll climb up a chair, and then when he tries to climb down, he kind of hugs the chair, and his feet are about this far off the ground. And he screams, "Papa, Papa, I need you. Papa, I need you." And every single time, what my brain first says is, "Bro, you're 3 inches off the ground. You're fine." But in my best moments, even though I can see he's gonna be fine, I know he's only 3 inches off the ground. I hug my boy and I say, "You don't have anything to fear. Papa's here." Friends, I don't know what your storm is. I don't know what fear you're carrying. I don't know what kind of weight has been crushing your heart, but God is not simply aware of you. He's present and for you right here and now. He's getting into the boat of our lives. He says, "It is I. You have nothing to fear. I'm here. I'm here."